The flag bearer Raila Odinga is now withdrawing from the repeat presidential polls. We've listened into religious leaders, some of the political leaders as well, representatives from the European Union. Let's take a look at part 2 of that narration by Duncan Khaemba on how the country got to where it is right now.
On the spot is Jubilee Party and by extension government over the already created division in parliament as they forcibly amend election laws amid NASA's protest.
Kenyans can debate whether or not electoral changes are warranted, but the timing is a serious problem. Wise reforms to an established electoral process take time. They require thoughtful reflection and broad agreement from all parties. Well-established international best practice is to avoid changes to electoral rules just prior to an election.
The life and death stakes at our elections in the new constitutional dispensation is exacerbated by the unfortunate winner-takes-all presidential system and loser loses everything fate that befalls those who lose in the presidential and gubernatorial elections.
That as it stands, Kenya as a country is at crossroads is clearly an open secret as it played out recently when two party operatives tore into each other on live television.
We are changing the laws to ensure that if they don't appear for those elections, like if you don't show up for a game, the match is awarded to those who showed up.
But I have no fear in stating that there will be no election on the 26th of October. And I've stated before that perhaps the only event you will have, being a member of Jubilee, is Uhuru Kenyatta's birthday party.
Any further delays, as you already can see, Duncan, are causing economic challenges. We hear that factories and businesses are closing down, people are losing employment, don't have access to funds and credit and therefore food, which would lead to people getting into this moral contention. And at that point, that is where we have possibly criminal elements then coming up on the rise.
As a government, we affirm the right of citizens to protest. We affirm the rights of citizens as provided by the Constitution. But on this particular occasion, we are telling Kenyans that given the interests of the greatest majority of the citizens of this country, we are opposed to these demonstrations. We believe that there are alternative ways of dealing with the grievances which we propose to deal with on the streets.
We also urge all Kenyan leaders and citizens to reject violence. The international community is watching Kenya and every step of its electoral process.
In this campaign, we will affirm our commitment to freedom, the rule of law, and democracy. We will defend our political rights and democratic space. Let the agents of foreign powers exhorting us to accept and move on so that they can continue to have lackeys to do their bidding know that we will not accept inferior governance.
Sijui ni sababu gani atatuambia, kwa sababu excuses hamalizi. Kama utaki uchaguzi, kaa kando, uende nyumbani, wacha taifa iende mbele.
This is a democratic society. We live in a democratic society. It's what is called freedom of choice. So if I choose not to participate in a pre-rigged electoral process, it's my democratic right. No court can order me not to do so.
To many, it seems Jubilee and NASA politics could be holding the country at ransom. Perhaps what could have led to this hard-hitting sermon by the presiding bishop at Christ is the Answer Ministries CITAM, Bishop David Oginde.
And we are caught up in this thing, oh, what is going to happen? We are stuck between NASA and Jubilee. Let me tell you, NASA and Jubilee can be removed by God, and you will see them no more forever. I don't know what that means to you. Uhuru can be removed by God right now, and will not see the election. Raila can be removed by God right now and he will not see the election because there's a God in heaven.
Weekly countrywide protests are gaining momentum. Nearly half of the country's major towns are slowly joining the bandwagon. The youth seem to be testing waters with security apparatus on the ground as their big boys keenly watch the developments. Will there be a political ceasefire, or the bare-knuckle politics will continue to prevail?
The drums of possible violence are being heard by all of us. And if you haven't heard them, then you don't know anything about this country.
Awache kutuchezea hapa. You are a candidate, my brother. You are not a president. Yeah. That is what you are.
Manake yeye hana heshima kwa taifa la Kenya. Tunamwambia Uhuru Kenyatta, Kenya hii si ya baba yako. Si yako.
Duncan Hemba, KTN News.